Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to unpack insights from some fascinating sources for you. And today, well, we start with something pretty bold. The quality of life depends on the quality of thinking.
It's a strong statement, isn't it? It makes you stop and think.
It really does.
Yeah.
Do you listening right now truly believe that? That your mindset, your inner world, actually dictates your destiny?
It's a fundamental idea, and honestly, it's the core of a philosophy that has genuinely reshaped entire industries. We're going to dig into how that actually works in practice.
Exactly. So our deep dive today is all about the wisdom of Inamori Kazuo, a real, well, a living legend from Japan. And this isn't just, some standard corporate story. This is the man who founded Kyocera, a huge global player in ceramics.
Right.
Then he created DDI, which became KDDI, a massive telecommunications company.
Another giant.
And maybe the most stunning part, he stepped in and rebuilt Japan Airlines from the absolute brink of bankruptcy.
It's an incredible track record. And what connects all of it is this unique philosophy he developed, which he lays out in his book, The Way of Thinking.
That's our focus today. We want to unpack the real core ideas, the key principles from that book. We'll look at how these ideas, which can seem simple on the surface, lead to a genuinely rich and fulfilling life when you apply them consistently.
And Inamori himself, he describes the book as a kind of compass, a compass that guides you towards a beautiful life, specifically through correct thinking.
What gets me is, despite all the hardships he faced, and there were many, he genuinely feels he's lived the happiest life. How? He puts it down to one unwavering commitment, always doing what is right as a human being.
That ethical core is fascinating. It wasn't just a guideline. It seems like it was the deciding factor in everything he did. Strategy came second to, basic human right and wrong.
Okay, so let's get into his foundational concept, because this is where it really clicks. He has this formula for life and work results. It goes, life-work result, mindset or thinking method, times enthusiasm, times ability.
Right, and it's crucial to understand each part because they're definitely not weighted equally in his view.
Let's break it down. First up is ability.
Yeah, so ability is basically what you're born with, your inherent talents. Things like natural intelligence, physical health, maybe athletic skill. It's the stuff you start with.
And he scores this from 0 to 100, right? It varies from person to person.
Exactly. Then you multiply that by enthusiasm.
Okay, so this is the effort part, the passion you bring.
Precisely. And the key difference here, unlike ability, is that enthusiasm is totally within your control. You decide how much effort, how much passion you invest, and that's also scored 0 to 100.
So you choose your level of enthusiasm, your willingness to just, work incredibly hard.
That's the empowering part. Even if you think your natural ability is, say, average, you can choose to have extraordinary enthusiasm. Inamori really believes someone with average talent but huge effort could achieve way more than a brilliant person who is, lazy or indifferent.
Which brings us to the third factor, and this is the game changer. Mindset.
This is where his formula gets really unique.
It is, because the scale isn't 0 to 100.
It's negative 100 to positive 100.
Think about that. A negative mindset, even just slightly negative, means the entire result becomes negative because it's a multiplier. All that ability, all that enthusiasm, poof, gone.
None.
Or worse, turned destructive.
Exactly. A -1 in mindset wipes out everything else, so it makes it negative. But conversely, a really positive mindset, say a +90 or +100, it exponentially amplifies whatever ability and enthusiasm you have.
So even with modest ability, if your mindset is deeply positive, you can achieve incredible things. It's about the direction of your thinking.
It's about the quality, the purity of your internal compass. That's what ultimately sets the destination.
So how does this actually look in practice? Let's take the Japan Airlines example. It's just mind-blowing.
It really is. So 2010, Inamori takes the helm at JAL. Iconic airline, huge company, but drowning.
Drowning how?
In bureaucracy, a kind of ingrained arrogance and staggering debt. We're talking 2.3 trillion yen. It was essentially finished.
So what does he do? Financial wizardry? Layoffs?
Nope. His immediate #1 focus, reforming the mindset of the employees. He started by teaching them, quite simply, what is right as a human being.
Can you imagine? Top executives, probably MBAs from elite schools.
Exactly. And initially there was huge resistance. They felt like they were being, and this is a quote, lectured like children.
By this older guy, an outsider, working for free.
Right. An unpaid old man from outside the company, as the source puts it. But he was relentless. Day in, day out, passionately explaining his philosophy. No salary, just pure conviction.
And that persistence.
Yeah.
It worked.
It did. Eventually, the sheer force of belief from someone with no personal gain at stake, it broke through. It sparked this widespread awakening among the leadership.
And it didn't stop there.
No, it cascaded down. Inamori personally went to the front lines. Counterstaff, cabin crew, pilots, mechanics, baggage handlers. He talked to everyone, instilling these core values.
And the result?
The source says obvious and perfect changes in behavior. People started taking ownership, caring more, working together differently. And the company's performance, it didn't just recover, it saw soaring growth.
It's such a powerful example of that formula. Change the mindset, the multiplier, and the whole result transforms. Which makes you ask, okay, what is a positive mindset versus a negative one, according to Inamori?
He was very clear about it. A positive mindset is forward-looking, affirmative, constructive. It's cooperative, diligent, honest, humble. It involves gratitude, benevolence, kindness, being considerate, all about building up.
And the negative mindset, pretty much the exact opposite, I guess.
Exactly. Backward-looking, negative, uncooperative, gloomy, malicious, unkind, deceitful, arrogant, lazy, selfish, greedy, complaining, resentful, jealous, blaming others. You can just feel how draining that is.
You really can. One builds, the other destroys.
And how you apply this is critical. Inamori noticed, for instance, that people who get lucky and take it for granted often become arrogant and then decline. But people who face hardship, real suffering, but do so with gratitude and a positive frame, they actually grow stronger.
So adversity isn't just something to endure, it can be fuel.
If your mindset is right, yes. Which leads nicely into his next principle, the power of wish or conviction.
This sounds like a positive thinking, but maybe deeper.
It is deeper. The core idea is if you truly deeply believe you can achieve something with an unwavering intention, it becomes possible. He stressed that this powerful thinking needs to penetrate right down into your subconscious. It has to become part of your core belief system.
Okay, so not just hoping, but a deep-seated conviction.
Exactly. He was influenced here by a philosopher, Nakamura Tenpu. Tenpu had this saying, "To achieve a new plan, one only needs unyielding, single-minded effort." That became a motto at Kyocera, and Inamori used it for JAL too. It's about that laser focus, that unwavering thought.
Let's look at Kyocera's start. That's a wild story.
It really is. 1959. He starts with just 28 employees, capital. A tiny 3 million yen. Basically, no money, no proper equipment, huge uncertainty.
Not exactly the ideal conditions for global domination.
Not at all. Yet, Inamori stood up and declared, "We will become Japan's #1. We will become the world's #1.
People must have thought he was dreaming. Or crazy.
Absolutely. It sounded completely preposterous for this tiny little workshop, but he wasn't just saying it. He believed it with every fiber of his being, and he repeated it constantly, passionately. Until his employees started to believe it too. That shared, powerful conviction, that wish, combined with just relentless, back-breaking work from everyone, it made the impossible happen. Kyocera did become the world leader in fine ceramics, now doing, 1.5 trillion yen in revenue?
Wow. From 3 million to 1.5 trillion. That's conviction made real.
It's a perfect example of the power of a deeply held wish materializing.
This seems tightly linked to the next idea. Unwavering belief and altruism. Belief as a guiding light.
Yes. He saw belief as this light that illuminates the darkness, especially when you're going into something totally new and scary where you can't see the path ahead.
Like starting DDI, the telecom company.
Exactly. That's the key story here. 1984, Japan's telecom market opens up. Inamori admits he knew basically nothing about telecommunications. Didn't even know the characters for it, he said.
So why jump in?
He felt this almost moral obligation, a righteous impulse. NTT had a monopoly, and phone fees were exorbitantly high. He felt he had to challenge that, to lower costs for ordinary people.
But it wasn't just a business opportunity for him.
This is the crucial part. Before launching, he spent half a year in intense self-reflection. Every single night, he asked himself, is this motive pure? Is it truly to benefit the public? Or is there some hidden selfishness, some personal ambition or desire for fame mixed in?
That's incredible self-scrutiny.
Deeply rigorous. Only when he was absolutely convinced that his motive was purely benevolent, purely for the public good, did he feel he had the right and the immense courage to proceed.
And the odds were definitely against DDI.
Hugely. They had no technology, no money, no established credit, nothing compared to the giants they were up against. And yet DDI became the market leader. Inamori attributes it solely to that foundational philosophy for the world, for humanity. That pure altruistic motive combined with incredible effort, gave them the conviction to overcome every obstacle, every bit of slander thrown their way.
It reminds me of that quote you mentioned from James Allen's As a Man Thinketh.
Yes, the pure-hearted achieve goals far more easily than the impure. Inamori really believed that simple, strong, pure thinking has more power than any complex strategy or tactic. The purity of the intent is the driving force.
Okay, moving on. He also talks a lot about embracing challenges and perfection. There's that intense mantra.
Yes. When you think, I can't do it anymore, that's when the work truly begins.
That's hardcore.
It is. It's not just about being brave, it's about this relentless, unyielding fighting spirit that kicks in precisely when things seem impossible. When you hit the wall, that's not the end, it's the start of the real work.
He had an analogy for this, right? For Kyocera's early sales efforts.
The water dropping on stone analogy? Yeah. In the beginning, all the big electronics companies rejected them flat out. They had their own internal suppliers. They didn't need this little startup.
Constant rejection.
Constant. But Inamori saw it like drops of water on a stone. One drop does nothing. Two drops, nothing. But if you keep dripping continuously, persistently, eventually that water can penetrate the stone.
So they just kept going back.
They kept going back, kept explaining, kept showing their quality, kept persisting, and eventually that unwavering will broke through. They got orders from those very same companies that initially shut the door. It proved that sheer tenacity can overcome seemingly impenetrable walls.
And this ties into the idea of perfectionism.
Absolutely. His motto was perfectionism. He hammered home the idea that the last 1% of negligence can ruin everything. You can't be 99% perfect. It has to be 100%.
He had a specific example, didn't he, about mixing materials?
Yeah, a really vivid one about mixing ceramic raw materials. You can weigh the ingredients perfectly down to the microgram, but actually mixing them so they're absolutely uniform throughout, even at a microscopic level, like 11,000th of a millimeter, incredibly difficult. Tiny imperfections always remain somewhere.
And those tiny imperfections matter.
Hugely. In production, even a minuscule flaw can mean wasted materials, wasted labor, wasted electricity. And critically for Kyocera early on, it meant delayed delivery.
Which is poison for a new company.
Total poison. He shared painful stories of those early days, late deliveries, furious customers, the constant risk of losing vital business. Those bitter experiences, as he called them, weren't forgotten. They burned into the company's DNA, this absolute, unwavering commitment to achieving 100% perfection, from the very start of a process to the very end.
Even if it's painful to strive for that level.
Especially then, because overcoming that difficulty, achieving that near impossible perfection, that's what builds real self-confidence and ultimately leads to sustainable success.
Okay, let's shift to inner strength, personal growth, and contribution. He often mentioned advice from his parents.
Yes, that old wisdom. Youthful hardships are worth buying. Don't run from difficulty when you're young. Embrace it. He saw hardship as a furnace, a crucible. Adversity polishes you like jade, he'd say.
Use a historical example for this too, right?
Saigo Takamori, a key figure in Japan's Meiji Restoration. Takamori faced exile multiple times, sent to these really harsh, impoverished islands, terrible conditions like a tiny hut open to the wind and rain.
Sounds awful. Most people would just despair.
But Takamori used that time. He engaged in deep study, profound meditation, and Inamori points out something fascinating. These periods of extreme hardship, these trials, actually saved Takamori. While he was exiled, political purges back on the mainland killed many of his peers. The suffering inadvertently protected him and forged him, preparing him for his massive role in history.
Wow, that's quite a perspective.
And Inamori saw his own youth through this lens. He had tuberculosis, failed exams repeatedly, his family home burned down, struggled to find work. It felt humiliating at the time.
Like he was cursed.
Exactly. He said he initially felt cursed. But looking back, he saw all those hardships as beautiful gifts from heaven, experiences that tempered him, forged his character, and ultimately made him capable of leadership. It's that reframing again, misfortune as preparation.
He faced public disgrace later too, didn't he? The artificial knee joint issue.
Yes, the ceramic knee joint scandal. Yeah. That was tough. A hospital pressured Kyocera to supply these ceramic joints, which weren't yet officially approved, for patients who were suffering badly and had no other options.
Seems like a difficult ethical spot.
Very. And when it came out, the media and public labeled it unethical business practices. He faced intense criticism, public humiliation, even a work suspension. It was a really dark period for him.
How did he cope with that?
He went to see a Zen master, Tanseki. He poured out his heart, his distress, his feeling of injustice. And the Zen master, just laughed.
What?
Laughed and said, "That's proof you're still alive." And then, even more profoundly, "It's just your accumulated karma being cleared away. Aren't you happy it's gone? You should be celebrating."
Wow. Talk about a perspective shift.
Instantaneous. Inamori said, hearing that seeing the disaster not as punishment, but as a kind of spiritual purification, instantly lifted the immense suffering he felt. It allowed him to accept it and move on. It's the power of seeing things differently.
That's incredibly powerful. It speaks to this theme of cultivating the beauty of the human heart, which seems central, starting with gratitude.
Yes, gratitude was huge for him. He practiced it constantly. He even felt gratitude towards customers who demanded price cuts.
Seriously.
He viewed it as training, an opportunity provided by the customer to force Kyocera to become more efficient, more innovative. He stressed the importance of just saying thank you all the time. Even if you have to force it initially, make it a habit, because the act itself lightens your heart and brings happiness.
He had a personal practice for this, too, from childhood.
A really lovely anecdote. His father used to take him to these sort of hidden, unofficial Buddhist temples in rural Kagoshima for what he called secret prayer. And the core teaching was just a simple chant, Namu, Namu grateful.
Namu, Namu, grateful.
He said he still chants it dozens of times every single day. Doesn't matter where he is, could be a Christian church, an Islamic mosque, he silently chants it. He felt it connected him to the universal divine and constantly reminded him that the outside world keeps us alive, that deep sense of interconnection and dependence.
And connected to gratitude is contentment, understanding what truly causes suffering.
Right. He often referred to Buddha's 3 poisons, desire or greed, anger and grumbling, or ignorance delusion. These, he believed, are the fundamental roots of human unhappiness.
He used an analogy for this, didn't he? The traveler and the tiger?
Yes, a very famous and profound Buddhist parable that apparently even moved Tolstoy. It paints a stark picture of the human condition.
How does it go?
Okay, so imagine a traveler walking through a field that's human life, a journey. Suddenly, a ferocious tiger representing death starts chasing him. He runs frantically and falls over a cliff, but manages to grab onto the branch of a pine tree growing out of the cliffside.
Precarious situation.
Very. Below him, at the bottom of the cliff, are 3 dragons. These represent the 3 poisons: desire, anger, grumbling, waiting with open mouths. Above him, the tiger snarls. His only hold is his pine tree branch, representing status, wealth, fame. But then he notices 2 rats, one black, one white, representing night and day, gnawing away at the root of the vine he's actually clinging to. His lifeline is being consumed.
So, death above, inner prisons below, time eating away his life. Desperate.
Absolutely desperate. But then he sees a drop of honey dripping from the vine.
Yeah.
And forgetting the tiger, the dragons, the rats, he stretches out his tongue to lick the honey, representing fleeting worldly pleasures.
Wow. That's a powerful image.
It is. The message Inamori took is that life is this solitary, precarious journey, constantly threatened by death and time, and fundamentally plagued by our own internal poisons. True contentment doesn't come from chasing the honey. It comes from recognizing the whole situation and actively working to restrain those inner dragons, desire, anger, grumbling. It's about cultivating a beautiful heart.
And how do you cultivate that?
Through daily self-reflection. This was Inamori's absolute daily ritual, non-negotiable. He compared the mind to a garden. You have to constantly tend it, weed out the negative selfish thoughts, the weeds, and consciously plant and nurture positive altruistic thoughts, the flowers.
So active mental gardening.
Every single day. He said he'd rigorously review his day, asking himself, did I have selfish motives? Did I hurt someone's feelings? Was I arrogant? Was I unkind? This constant vigilance, this self-correction. Sometimes he'd even instinctively say, God, please forgive me, if he caught a negative thought. This is what strengthens that inherently beautiful heart he believed all humans possess.
This leads naturally to humility and selflessness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Humility benefits, as the old Chinese proverb says. For Inamori, true humility wasn't about pretending to be meek. It was a genuine inner state. And success, he warned, is a test. Fame, wealth, power. These are tests from heaven. Many people achieve success but then fail the test because they become arrogant.
He's an example for this, I think. Athletes.
Yeah, the analogy of young, highly paid professional athletes like football players. They have these short, incredibly brilliant careers, earning huge money and fame. That period is a test. Will they indulge themselves, become arrogant, squander it all? Or will they remain humble, disciplined, and prepare wisely for the long second act of their life after their playing days are over? Their response to success determines their long-term well-being.
It's a good reminder for anyone who achieves some measure of success. Are you handling it with humility?
And that humility often requires sacrifice. James Allen again. Great success required great self-sacrifice.
Inamori himself wrestled with this, right? Balancing his intense work demands with family life.
He did. Students at his leadership school, Seiwajuku, often asked him about this balance. He reflected that his own family life didn't break down because he made a point of always sharing the company's struggles, its challenges, with his wife. He created a sense of oneness, of shared purpose.
He even involved his children.
Quite dramatically. He recounted waking his young children in the middle of the night sometimes to explain that the company was facing a crisis, that they could lose everything. He wanted them to understand why he was working so tirelessly, why he couldn't always be there. He needed them to be part of that shared struggle.
That's intense. But he found a way to frame that sacrifice.
He found validation in an idea that fundamentally shifted his perspective. The idea that sacrificing one's personal life, even aspects of family life, for the greater good, for the well-being of thousands of employees, for the progress of society, wasn't a personal failing or something to feel guilty about. It was potentially the greatest honor.
So transforming small love into great love.
Exactly. Shifting the focus from love for just self and immediate family, small love, to a broader, more encompassing love for employees, for society, for humanity, great love. That larger purpose justified the personal sacrifice, in his view.
Which brings us full circle to the ultimate expression of this philosophy, contribution and altruism.
Yes. For Inamori, the absolute highest, most respectable human action is simply wanting to do something for others. Altruism, Rita, is the peak.
And the Kyoto Prize, the big example here.
It's a fantastic story. Initially, like anyone, Inamori enjoyed receiving awards for his success. But then he learned about a professor who was using his own patent royalties, his own money, to fund an award to help other researchers. And Inamori felt ashamed.
Ashamed? Why?
He felt he hadn't really given back sufficiently himself. It sparked this powerful urge to contribute meaningfully to the world beyond just running his companies well. So in 1984, he took a huge chunk of his personal assets, 20 billion yen, and established the Inamori Foundation and the Kyoto Prize.
And the goal wasn't just another science prize.
No, it was broader. He wanted to recognize brilliant researchers and artists, often unsung heroes, working in fields vital to humanity. And crucially, he wanted to help balance our amazing scientific and technological progress with spiritual and ethical civilization.
And has it worked? Has it created that contribution?
Beautifully, yes. He spoke with deep joy about how many Kyoto Prize laureates, inspired by the spirit of the prize, then use their prize money for their own philanthropic projects for social good. It creates this wonderful good cycle, a ripple effect of altruism.
Like that water bucket analogy you mentioned.
Exactly. Push the water towards others, and the ripples inevitably bring some back to you. Altruistic actions, paradoxically perhaps, end up benefiting the giver immensely, often in unexpected ways, certainly in terms of happiness and fulfillment.
He also used that Buddhist parable about heaven and hell, right? The chopsticks.
Ah, yes, the long chopsticks. In both heaven and hell, people have chopsticks that are far too long to feed themselves. In hell, everyone is desperately trying to get food into their own mouths, fighting, stabbing, frustrated, starving amidst plenty.
Chaos and suffering.
Total chaos. But in heaven, same long chopsticks, same food. But people are using the chopsticks to feed each other across the table. Everyone is happy, well-fed, living in harmony. The only difference.
The state of mind. The intention. Selfishness versus altruism.
Precisely. It's all about the mindset. Are you trying to grab for yourself, or are you trying to contribute to others?
So wrapping this all up, where does it leave us?
Well, I think the core takeaway from our deep dive today is just how profoundly Inamori Kazuo's life and incredible success demonstrate the power of our thinking method. It really hammers home that it's not just about your innate talent or even how hard you work. Those matter. Fundamentally, it's about the mindset, the quality and direction of your thoughts that you consciously choose to cultivate.
It really makes you pause and think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So for everyone listening, take a moment, reflect on your own mindset. Where in your life, maybe at work, in your relationships, maybe facing a personal challenge, could shifting your way of thinking unlock something new? What small, consistent step could you take, maybe even starting today, to deliberately cultivate a more positive, maybe more altruistic, more diligent inner world?
And maybe leave you with this final, quite provocative thought from Inamori's work to chew on. If human beings have selfish thoughts that go against the cosmic mind, they will not get good results. It's a challenging idea. But consider this. What if consciously aligning your own intentions, your own will, with that sense of great love for others, for humanity, for the world, isn't just a nice philosophical idea, but actually the practical key? The key to not only transforming your own life and destiny, but also contributing to a better, more harmonious world. What if embracing altruism truly is the ultimate path to a flourishing, beautiful life?